Tyler, we start. Both teams for Texas and March Madness are both dancing. Opening day is tomorrow, and so much more is happening in the world of sports. It's one of the best times of the year, and we got you all covered right here on College Crossfire.
You know, I really think that Texas fans should start.
We were rolling for a solid like 5 seconds for the
season. I respect the game. I'm gonna get up, grab the football, go back with my teammates and get the ball to the ref.
Shout out to the Tavern and the Austin Gooners. No, not that type of gooner.
Get out of my face. I've seen enough out of you.
Welcome back from spring break. We are now on our final stretch before the semester ends, and we have our Tournament of Champions and Senior Show. I'm your host, TJ Krilowicz, and before we get started, I want to share that today's show is brought to you by Cap Metro, Austin's transit system. We connect you to work, school, play, and everywhere in between. So plan your ride this weekend at capmetro.org. For those who've never tuned in before, here are the rules for tonight's show. There'll be 3 rounds containing 3 questions each, and for every round, I'm going to dish out points in the amounts of 3, 2, and 1 based on our contestants' answers. Whoever has the most points from their answers by the end of their 3rd round will be crowned as this week's College Crossfire champion and will get the return for our next episode. But there's a catch. Everyone must know before we begin our 3rd and final round, better known as Rapid Fire, is worth double the points, meaning no lead is safe. Also, our contestants have not yet been able to see or prepare for these questions whatsoever. So have to think on their feet and come up with the idea of the best possible answer. And trust me, Rapid Fire is the best round of them all. If there's a tie by the end of the Rapid Fire, I have a bonus question ready that will help determine our Crossfire champion once and for all. So now that we've reviewed the rules, let's introduce our contestants. And on first base, this guy won last week, I guess. I'm not too sure. I don't have much recollection of last week, but you got both teams in the Sweet 16 for you. Colin Flickinger, welcome back.
Thank you, TJ. It's been a weird couple weeks. You weren't here, you know, when I won my last one, and then we went on spring break. So it's been 2 weeks since the last time I was on. But hoping
yeah, sure, not even last week.
Yeah, hoping I can get another win, become the first back-to-back winner in the I think the full school year. So
yeah, you were in Canada last week, right?
What?
Canada last week?
I was in Canada.
Interesting spot. Interesting
spot. Who goes to Canada for spring break?
Yeah, apparently you, man. And on second base, maybe this time if he wins, he'll come back on next week. Welcome back, Ayan Masud.
What's going on, guys? I'd like to correct Colin here. Big Stremp has won back-to-back. He almost went for the 3-peat.
Was it this year?
But,
that was
early this semester.
Was it in the fall, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was in the
I think,
fall.
right?
There was a lot of talk in the intros of just trying to go first back-to-back, trying to be the first to go back-to-back.
Yeah, it was at the very end.
Was that the very
You don't remember that?
No.
I don't even think the people can hear you, man. You don't even have the mic.
I mean,
Yeah.
whatever.
I'm just talking to a wall, basically.
Whatever, man.
Well, I'm glad to have you back on the show, though. And lastly, on third base, making his second appearance and on the show, and hopefully this time we can actually hear you. Welcome back, Cody Feldman.
Yes, please. If the audio is not working, say in the YouTube stream, we need to fix it. But I think we're good now. So let's get started.
Yeah, thank goodness we are back. Maybe we'll be able to finally hear you for this first round. So we have the sponsorship in, we explain the rules, and now we introduce the contestants. There's only one last thing to do, and that is to start the game. Starting with question number 1. Texas men's basketball, oh man. After taking down NC State in the last few seconds of the game and the first 4 matchup, the Horns have rattled off back-to-back wins against BYU and Gonzaga, which has magically landed them in the Sweet 16 to play Purdue. For you, what stat do the Longhorns have to beat the Boilermakers in to ensure a win, and why? Colin, since you're 2 weeks ago champion, you're going to start off.
For me, I think it has to be offensive rebounds. I mean, when you look at Purdue, they have some of the best guards in the country. They have one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. They don't miss from the paint. They are, according to Ken Palm, the most offensive efficient team in the country. Texas isn't. You know, when you look at Texas basketball, they're not particularly good at being an efficient team. Purdue is. So when Purdue misses their shots, it's important that you limit the amount of rebounds that they get in the offensive end. And then when you're on the front end of the court for Texas, it's very important that you get as many second chance opportunities as possible to beat a team that can score as much and as well as Purdue does.
Second chance possibilities, something that Texas did not do too well in the season, but doing good now. Ayan?
Colin is definitely right with offensive rebounding. Rebounding on that side of the ball has not been good, but For me, I'm going to go with assists. We've seen, especially in this tournament, they've spread the ball around very well. We've seen multiple players go off in games. Jordan Pope had 17 in one game. Dalen Swain has had multiple good games. Obviously, the last round versus Gonzaga, I would say Matas was probably the best player playing. And then Tremont Mark also had that shot against NC State. Spreading the ball around and giving all these different players different shots is what's going to be key. So assists, because of how spread out the team can play in these games.
Something that they've also gone a lot better at in this tournament, passing the ball, getting movement in. Cody.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Colin here. I'm not just going to say offensive rebounds. I'm going to say the entire rebound battle. For me, when you look at this Texas team, real good on offense and statistically just not as good on defense. And an important part of defense is getting those rebounds and limiting the Purdue offensive rebounds. And if you look at their game so far, won the rebound battle against NC State, won the rebound battle against BYU, did not win against Gonzaga, was able to get a few clutch shots and get out of there. And I think that overall, Gonzaga, 23rd in the country in rebounds. Overall, Purdue, 180th. As good as their offensive rebounding has been, I think that Texas has a better shot of out-rebounding Texas. Texas has a better shot of out-rebounding Purdue, and then they can get out in transition and win this game.
Yeah, great answers all around. You guys all kind of mentioned something that I really wanted you guys to point out, which is Fokatitis needs to stay being a monster, which is what he's been in this tournament. And so I think I'm going to go with the more specific one right here. I'm going to give you the 3 points here for the offensive rebounds. I know that that's going to be very important, the second chance opportunities, especially because they are a very efficient offense. And so I'm going to go with that. For 2, I'm going to go with rebounds just in total. I think, again, rebounding, that's a big indicator on who wins, obviously. So I'm going to go with that. Assist, I think that Texas, they've done a lot better with it, but they've really not been a team that gets assists at all this entire season, and they've kind of started to play pretty well in that fashion. So I'm going to go with the 1 here, but we've still got a lot more game left. So going off to the next question. While the men's team has been making headlines, the women's team has been taking care of business like usual. After 2 wins against Missouri State and Oregon at the Moody Center, the team is facing the Kentucky Wildcats in an SEC showdown in the Sweet 16. While it is sweet to be one of the last 16 teams left, the other 3 1 seeds are still in, making it an incredibly competitive field. To you, however, what number 1 seed do you think will get eliminated first, and why? Ayan. Guy didn't do much research, apparently. You go first.
I'm going to go with UCLA here. I don't think the Big Ten conference, especially women's basketball-wise, was much very competitive. They went 18-0. They didn't have a problem. I don't know if they're going to be prepared for these upcoming games that are, big time. We know UConn is probably the best team in the country. Texas has a shot to take them down easily, and you cannot count out Dawn Staley for South Carolina. I just think UCLA is not the team that's going to be winning it all. I think they're the weakest number 1 seed overall.
All right, UCLA. Cody, what do you say?
Yeah, to me, it's a process of elimination. I'm going to come off the bat and eliminate UConn. Best overall team in the country on paper, best defense in the country. Teams can't really score on them. Held Syracuse to 12 points in the first half, an incredible feat.
Wild.
I'm also going to eliminate Texas from that. They got that veteran leadership. Madison Booker, a career-high 40. I think that no team in their region is going to be able to hold them. So it really comes down, it's a coin toss between UCLA and South Carolina. However, looking at South Carolina's region, the best team left in their region is probably Virginia. It looks like a little bit of an easier schedule. UCLA's got LSU, is the same LSU that scored 95 points a game. 6 points more than UConn. That's number 1 in the NCAA. I just think that the path is too tough for UCLA. They're surely the first to go.
Yeah, I think that is a pretty important talk about the rest of the competitive field that they have in their bracket. So, Colin?
I think you got to play the record till it's broken. I'm going to UCLA here, too. I mean, they have, like Nick said, or like Cody said, the toughest field to get to win the championship. Not only do they play, in my opinion, the best 4 seed in the tournament, and then they play the best 2 seed in the tournament in LSU, but I do think it's going to be chalk going to the Final Four. I think all 4 1 seeds are going to make it, and just a matter of the fact that UCLA and Texas, if that game happens, will be played first instead of the other game. That is why UCLA is going to get knocked out first, because they're going to run into Texas before UConn runs into South Carolina.
Okay, all right. I see where you're going with that. That's pretty strategic, looking ahead like that. I see that. I'm still going to give the 3 to Cody, though. I think that, unfortunately, you guys brought up the same big point that I was I was trying to talk about, which is they have UCLA has a tough field left in their bracket, and Cody said it first, so I'm going to give him the 3 here on this round.
It's a luck of the draw there.
I'm going to give you the 2. Ayan, once again, the 1, but man.
Comeback king, man.
Comeback, you know all about it. You know all about it. So let's get into the next question, the final question of round 1. On back-to-back Fridays, Texas baseball lost their SEC opener in a very difficult way, and they did it once again last night against Houston. But to their credit, they have come back to win the series both times against some very high competitive teams in Auburn and Ole Miss. To you, what is the hardest weekend series remaining for the Texas baseball squad, and why? Cody, we're going to start with you.
Yeah, if I'm Texas baseball, I know it's only March right now, but I have May 1st through 3rd circled on the calendar. I have Mississippi State. They are hot right now. 5-game win streak. They're batting .347. That's first in the SEC. And you would think, oh, it's not that deep in the season. They're batting .350. They can't keep it up. They're 25 games in. They're 25 games in. They're batting .347. They're batting so well, and as good as this Texas pitching staff is, I think that's one they have to have circled on their calendar, one that they've got to be nervous for.
Absolutely. They have been on a tear. Colin.
God, I just can't get an answer that's different from this kid. That's 3 rounds in a row. I mean, yeah, I have the same series circled. Look, this Mississippi State team just blew out the number 12 team in the country, South Miss, 12-0 in 7 innings. Ridiculous, ridiculous performance. They are hitting electrically. By the time Texas gets to this point in the season, they'll have slogged through a majority of the SEC schedule. Mississippi State's schedule is significantly lighter through that portion of the year. They're going to be a lot less, you know, I don't want to say battle tested, but a lot less worn down from just the grueling strength that is playing an SEC baseball schedule. So I think that they're going to be a lot more prepared. They're going to have more time for preparing for Texas. I think Mississippi State is going to be the hardest, even though it's at home.
Yeah, I was going to say that is a game at DKR, but you guys are pretty confident that's the most hardest remaining series. Ayan, you got something different or what?
Yeah, I do, actually. While I agree that Mississippi State is probably the hardest opponent on Texas baseball's schedule, I'm going to go with this weekend's series against Oklahoma. Oklahoma is red hot. I believe they're on a 5-game winning streak here, and Texas is on a run. The last 2 Friday games have been losses. They barely won the series against Auburn this past weekend. I just think when it comes time for them to play Mississippi State, they have some easier games coming up. Texas State is a midweek game. They're also going to play South Carolina, which they're terrible right now. So they're going to get in more of a groove. And right now, Texas is in their biggest rut. They started off great, and then those losses started happening. And this is what happens with Texas baseball almost every year. So I'm going to go with Oklahoma. It's a rivalry game. You know, Oklahoma had a tough season in the SEC last year. They're ready to play this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's a good answer. I think that it's pretty wild that you guys all went with a series at DKR, though. I think they do have some pretty competitive road series coming up, especially Knoxville. Of course, College Station's going to be emotional as always. But Tennessee's in Knoxville, right?
Well, you said DKR.
Yeah, DKR. I'm sorry, the dish. I'm sorry. Great. Thank you for correcting me there. Yeah, so I'm going to go with, I want to go with you just because picking a different one. Come on, man. But Mississippi State's the more technical answer there. It's definitely the right answer. So I think I'm going to go with you again, Cody, because I think you brought up the most important stats, which is what they are doing right now, the batting average. They are on a tear. I do like that you brought up the recent games, but I think right now, although it is they're really hot right now, they still have a long ways to go before that game in May, or that series there is. So I'm going to give you the 2. Ian, I'm going to give you the 1 again, but again, man, there's nothing that matters except for rapid fire. But that's it for round 1 of this week's College Crossfire. Next up, I hope that baseball questions didn't tire you out because we got some more baseball coming up with opening day on the horizon. All this and more when we come back. Welcome back to College Crossfire, and after an entertaining first round, the leaderboard has Cody right now in the leaderboard with 8 points, Colin right behind him at 7, and Ayan not so far behind him at 3 points. But we aren't even halfway done, so let's get started with round number 2. So get your hot dogs because the MLB is back. The threat of the Los Angeles Dodgers three-peating is real, but as we could see from last year's World Series, LA isn't as invincible as we thought, with the Blue Jays being 1 inning away from taking them down in Game 7. Of course, we know what happens, but it was still close. To you, who do you think wins the World Series this year and why? Cody, I have a feeling I know what you're going to pick, but I'll let you explain.
See, you would think, based off the Tyler McGill jersey behind me, I'd be choosing the Mets, but no. I'm going to stick with the Dodgers, actually.
Wow.
If there was any doubt about the Los Angeles Dodgers, it was who they would be pitching in the 9th inning. And so what they do, they got out and got who, in my opinion, was the best reliever over the second half of the MLB season last year, of Edwin Diaz. And, you know, why not? Let's go out and sign Kyle Tucker to hit behind Shohei Ohtani. Teams can't just walk Ohtani now because they're going to have to answer to Tucker next. It's a really tough 1-2 combo. They also just have Betts. They got Will Smith. They got plenty of guys that you don't want to see in that lineup. And I think that, you know, plugging whatever holes they had, which is what they did over the offseason, spending a ridiculous amount of money, it's hard to argue with that. I'm going to go bold prediction here. I think that the Dodgers are so good this year that there's a lockout next year. Their salary cap, they're figuring it out. I think the Dodgers are going to be too good. So that's what I'm going with right now.
Salary cap is, the need for it is starting to rise a little bit for sure. Ayan?
The last team to three-peat was the New York Yankees. That is who I am picking. Aaron Judge is 34 years old. He's ready to win another chip, man. I just think that they're I don't know. Never mind, my fault. But I think that developmental players like Carlos LaGrange, he has a 102-mile fastball. Like, I think that their developmental players and the roster overhaul that they had over this past offseason and at the deadline is going to be enough to put them over the edge. Keep in mind, last year, the Blue Jays and the Dodgers had identical records. So I think that or the Blue Jays and the Yankees, I mean. So I'm picking the New York Yankees here. Shohei and Aaron Judge are really close in MVP odds. Aaron Judge is going to have a great year.
All right, Aaron Judge with a great year. I mean, not too hard of a prediction to make. He usually does, but Colin.
Just give me the 2 points, man. I'm going the Dodgers again. I can't pick anything different than him. I mean, look, they were the best team. They got better. It's chalk. Realistically, this team, their biggest issue last year was pitching. They go out, sign Edwin Diaz. What the hell? What? I mean, like, they have to stop this at some point, right? Like, you could argue that there's like a chance that their pitching gets injured again. I don't think it will. They hired some new staffers to, you know, look after their pitchers' arms this summer. So I just don't think that there's any team that, given a full 162-game season, full playoffs, can compete in a 7-game series with the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's going to be really tough. But, of course, there is some parity that comes into the playoffs. The Dodgers have been able to kind of get away with it, obviously. So, I mean, it's been a long night of me penalizing you for going with different answers. I think it's about time that I give you the answer here for the 3. I think that you had it's not the best answer. I think that the Yankees are going to have you're going to need a really strong trade deadline to be able to compete in October, especially in that starting rotation. But it's all right. You went different again, and I can't give you the 1s anymore. So I'm going to give you the 3.
Let's hope it's not
Cody,
just
you're going to get 2 again. You made the better explanation. Right. Colin, you're going to get the 1. I'm sorry. You said just give me the 2. You're getting half of that. So, going to the next question. With so much going on in the sports world, you might forget that the NBA and NHL are so close to the playoffs in each of their respective leagues. Starting off with the NHL, and this season has been kind of weird. Why do I say that? Because the team that went to the Stanley Cup Finals 3 years in a row isn't even going to make the playoffs, and the Winnipeg Jets are going to have the same fate after winning the President's Cup last season. While there have been many disappointments, there have also been some teams flourishing in the mayhem. To you, who has been the most surprising team this season that is in the playoffs currently, and why? Ayan, you're going to start off with us. I'm excited for this answer.
I read this answer as NBA. So I'm cooked. Yo, the Stars are going to win it all. Dallas is the best city.
They're the surprising team.
They're the surprising team because they're going to win it all and they're going to go undefeated. because the Stars are from Dallas, and Dallas is the best. Thank you.
That's the best answer you could have made right there, Colin.
Look, you could not pay an NHL analyst to pick the Pittsburgh Penguins to make the playoffs for the season. 27, 27, 28, 28, 29,
It's
30.
what you told me before the show.
I know, but it's what's true.
It was gold,
So,
yeah.
Anthony Mantha, the Penguins signed him on a 1-year, $2 million deal, goes out and becomes the team's second leading scorer. Ben Kindle, who was picked 11th overall, is now the second highest scoring rookie in his class and the third highest in the entire NHL. Malkin, Novak, Igor Chinikov, who the Pens traded a second-round pick for, all of which have 15 or more goals this season. The team's defense, Erik Karlsson is playing like his prime over the last month and a half. It is ridiculous. The fact that the Pittsburgh Penguins are even in the position they are, despite the fact that they were a lottery team, some people were even saying they might be the team that gets McKenna because of how bad they were expected to be. And now in the Metro Division 3 spot after being in the Metro 2 all year, if you name a team that is more surprising than that, I would be shocked.
They just keep on racking up those 1-point games too, man. What? They got to be first in the league in overtime losses.
There's no 1-point losses in the playoffs. It's only
That's
5
true.
to 5.
Cody, round us out.
I'm going to say that we finally have a different answer. Thankfully. Yeah, the Buffalo Sabres were the third worst team in the East last year. They are atop the East, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. They are atop the Atlantic Division right now. Last year, third worst in goals allowed. This year, second best. Alex Lyon comes over from the Red Wings, 2.64 goal allowed average, and it's really been a difference this year. The Sabres were terrible last year, had 79 points throughout the whole season. It's March, they got 95 and counting. They're my surprise of the year.
They are definitely a big surprise, and I want to give you the 3 because I think the Sabres are the obvious answer, but I think that you had a better explanation with the Penguins because I think that it is very incredible that they've been able to get to the position that they have been. The Sabres, the same as well. I just like that you brought out the whole roster breakdown, what's been going on.
Never heard.
Yeah,
I never heard before the season.
Can't even pronounce.
I have 2 of their jerseys now.
You're gonna get the 3 here. All right, I'm gonna give you the 3. Cody, I'm gonna give you the 2. Ayan, great answer. All right. In any other circumstance, I'm giving you 4 points for that. All right, but the Stars aren't really that surprising. They were expected to be pretty good. So going into the last and final question, LeBron James is still having an incredible season despite being 41. And although he is still performing well and the Lakers are in competition in the West, he isn't even the best player on his team anymore. With that being said, there's been a lot of discussion on who will be the next face of the NBA. To you, who do you think that will be and why? Colin, you're going to start us off.
Bam had 83. No.
Keep going.
So, as unfortunate as it is, because of how much I hate the way he hoops, I think Shea is the obvious answer for the next face of the league. I mean, look, the guy is good at what he does. You can't blame him for taking advantage of the rules that were put in place before he got to the league. He's foul baiting. He puts some of the most unethical stat lines up that you can see. But there's no arguing that he is one of the best players in the NBA right now. All the other names that I could think of, Wemby is too injury prone, Giannis is too old, Jokic just doesn't have the aura to be the face of the league. I just think Shea is the one guy who meets all of those categories, TJ. He's got the aura. I don't know if you saw the tweet, dude.
It's actually going to be Cody's turn, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sick of giving obvious answers, as I've done all night. I'm not going to name any of the players that you just mentioned, because I want Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards has a few things that I think you need to be the face of the league. He's got the personality. First of all, that man looked Obama in his eyes and said, "I'm the truth." You got to love it. You got to love that type of confidence. He also shoots threes, which is where the NBA's been going over the last 10 years. That's where it's going to continue to go. He shoots threes better than anyone besides Steph Curry in the current game. And also, you just see it out there. His advertisements, his brand deals with Adidas, he's everywhere. People love him, kids love him. That's the type of way you want to market your league. He's got a great smile too. I could go on and on, but mainly just Anthony Edwards. Great dunks, great shots, and the personality to be the face of the league. I think he could be the next one. I think Adam Silver's going to want an American too, per chance. And so, for all those reasons, I'm going to go with Anthony Edwards.
All right, yeah. No, great points right there. Ayan, what you got?
Adam Silver will for sure want an American player, and I'm going to go with the main event Cooper Flagg is going to be the next face of the NBA. He's got some of the most hype coming into the league since LeBron. He's got crazy size. He can do it all. I think Cooper Flagg will be the next face of the NBA, not only because of his playing ability, but they're going to tank the rest of the season. They're about to get a key piece because of how talented this freshman class that's going to elevate the Mavs as a team, that's going to help elevate Cooper Flagg, and he's young. He's got so much time left. Cooper Flagg, Duke's finest, he's going to be the next face of the NBA easily.
All right. Yeah, you know, you're putting me in tough spots here, all right? You're going back to back, Dallas. Give him the 3. Give him the 3. Colin, I'm going to give you the 1, honestly. I'm going to give you the 1 for SGA. I think that it's just his time has passed, kind of. I think that people don't really.
One season wonder.
Too unlikable of a persona
Braun wasn't
for people.
unlikable when he was the face?
Well, Braun has a lot of big fans that back him up that will die for him. I don't think SGA fans are really like that, like LeBron
OKC's
fans
too
are.
small
You don't see a bunch of Mikes around, you know, Michael Alvarez's.
Cleveland wasn't?
But so I'm gonna give you the 1, Colin. Cooper Flagg's gonna get the 2.
Okay.
I think that you know what he's doing with as a rookie, generational. He's gonna be somebody that people are gonna look after. He's gonna be an all-star soon. He's gonna be in the MVP race. I believe so. Cody, obvious answer I think is Wemby, but you're talking about getting an American in. I think the best one possible is Anthony Edwards. He has the swagger, like you said. The Obama reference is yeah, definitely counts towards your points here. So I'm gonna give you the 3 here. So 2 blocks are down and only 1 to go. Rapid fire is coming up, and you won't want to miss the most entertaining round of all, as well as finding out who will be this week's winner. All this is coming up on College Crossfire. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have made it to the last round. Finally, rapid fire. Before we start, we do have to say who is currently winning, which is Cody right now at 15 points, Colin at 12, Ayan at 9. So I hope you guys are ready once again, as all questions have not been prepared or seen by the contestants whatsoever. It'll be all gas, no breaks from here on out. Let's get right into it. Since the last time I hosted, which was 3 weeks ago, Bam Adebayo dropped 83 points in a game against the Washington Wizards, which was the second highest point game in NBA history behind the redacted game footage of Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game back in the 60s, right? I think so. So with scoring becoming such a premium in today's game and other stars making it to 70-plus in recent years, who do you think will be the next NBA player to drop 80-plus in a game? Anyone can pick up the mic and answer first.
Luka is the easiest answer here. I can see where people are going to say SGA because of the foul baiting. I just think Luka has done it more. He's had multiple 60-plus point games. He had 73 against the Hawks when he was on the Mavs. And think about when Braun retires. The Lakers made that move because they wanted to secure their future. Luka has the most proven track record of scoring those type of games, and he doesn't have to play like Bam did. He can do it the way he plays normally, which, of course, he foul baits quite a bit, not as much as SGA, but Luka would easily be my first choice.
80 points for Luka. Yeah, I could definitely see that coming. Colin.
Look, we saw what it took for Bam to break 80, right? That was probably the single most unethical game of all time. I mean, they were feeding him the ball, and he got 43 free throws. When we're talking about unethical scores, Shay. I know he said he won't do it, but I think to get 80. To break the 80 mark, you do need to have a certain play style that allows you to not only keep the ball a lot, but you need to have a lot of really high percentage shots. Luka is not really a super efficient scorer. You need to be super efficient to be an 80-plus game player. Shea is efficient. He's unethical. He gets to the free throw line, which is needed. He scores from the mid-range. He scores from three. I think Shea is the obvious answer. Next time he plays the Wizards, book it.
Next time he plays the Wizards. All right. Cody, round us
Listen,
out.
it's been years upon years since we've seen a performance like that, and you don't get those very often. And I think as we saw with Bam, it was kind of a product of the game changing. So many foul calls. You never really used to get that in NBA games. So I think that no one in the next couple of years is going to be able to do it because we're waiting for the game to change, for it to happen again. Every time the game changes, it feels like someone could go for 70 or 80. I think that who's going to be around in 15, 20 years when the game has changed, but who do we know now? I think that with the three-pointer, as important as it is right now, will become even more important. Maybe there's a 4-point line. They'll keep letting it go. Con Knipple has been unbelievable from three this year, 43% from three, and I just think that as a rookie, he's been so good. He's been flamethrowing. I think that if he gets the volume on the Hornets, he has the opportunity for an 80-point game, not because of the skill level, but because of how the game is changing.
These are all really good answers. I was hoping somebody would pick somebody really young, somebody in college or high school maybe. That would have been
I thought about Peterson, but I went with the rookie.
Okay, but I do like your answer a lot. I'm going to have to talk about this next question while I ask these points. I won't say who won the points. Also, the points are doubled. But getting into the next question, the Boston Red Sox are a storied franchise, and if you are ever lucky enough to catch a game at Fenway Park, you can now get a lobster poutine dish from the stadium while watching the Red Sox, which in my opinion might be the most New England meal ever. This is just one of many foods being introduced to stadiums across the league in preparation for a new season. If you were the head chef of a baseball team, or a baseball stadium, that might I say, and opening day was about to start, what would be your signature dish to sell to the masses and why?
I'm ready to go.
You already got one?
I don't need to be the head chef because the guy at Citi Field is already doing a great job. They have 29 different egg rolls, one for each different team, dessert egg rolls, regular egg rolls. They got pastrami in an egg roll. They'll put whatever in an egg roll. They got one for each and every team. They got one for your team, one for your team, one for your team. And I just think that was such a creative idea. I can't wait to get to Citi Field and try one or two of the egg rolls. I'm not going to be able to see all 29 visitors play, but I just thought that was so creative. Wanted to shout out Citi Field, and they should keep doing what they're doing.
I was going to say, if you've had any. So
No, it's new this year, actually. They're getting innovative.
Okay.
But
okay.
every year Citi Field food gets better, so that's who I'm going with.
That's interesting. All right. Anyone? Anyone want to go next?
I'll go. Texas is known for a lot of different things. You know, I'm from Texas, and I think one of the top 3 things in Texas is its barbecue. Specifically here, I'm talking about a nice sliced brisket sandwich with barbecue sauce leathered all over it. And the Rangers or the Astros, they're going to be 2 of those teams that are going to put that out there. But I'm going to say that the Rangers, somebody inside the Rangers chef kitchen, they're going to go up to Frisco, Texas, and steal Hutchins Barbecue's recipe, which is better than Terry Black's, and they're going to get the best sliced brisket sandwich of all time.
What, Hutchins stinks?
Hutchins is better than Terry Black's.
I actually agree with that. I do agree with that. You got to give me a side, though, real quick. Sorry, I know that. You got to give me a side dish with that.
Mac and cheese, obviously.
Mac and cheese. Colin.
So if I'm a head chef, I'm looking for something we can mass produce. What I'm doing is I am calling the head of marketing. Hey, greatest idea. I'm going to make you $1 billion. Make a $9.99 package. You get a ticket to the game, 9 beers, and 9 hot dogs included in your seat.
It's not economical.
It's not economical. You know what's also not economical? Having to pay stadium prices for brisket and a side. All right. $60. That minimum.
So whenever you enter the stadium, you just are handed your tray?
No, every inning, they bring you, there's a server for you. They bring you a hot dog and an ice cold beer.
Not economical.
Fan service, man.
Yeah, fan service. Is this going to be allowed in the nosebleeds too?
Sure.
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 Okay, now we gotta hire some employees.
Got to hire some
now.
extra security,
All
but
right.
think of the money you'll make, TJ.
Get into the last and final question of this College Crossfire show. If we can get this to move up to the next question.
If Santi could stop
If
talking.
Santi could stop talking. With the big news on the 40 Acres being the men's basketball team, it is wild to think that this team is able to compete for an Elite Eight appearance after the way the season ended for the Horns. For this trivia question, as we all know, Texas is an 11th seed, and actually the only double-digit seed remaining. So how many times has a double-digit seed made it to the Final Four in the men's and women's tournament? And I'll give you a bonus point if you know the lowest seed ever to make it to the Final Four. Anyone can go first. Honestly, I might just have you guys say it at the same time. If you guys have, make it seem a little bit more fair, right? Maybe. Do you guys all have your?
Do you all have your answers in mind?
No, not
For the seed?
For this, I don't have it for the seed.
So
I
it's. Can we get a little review of the question?
Yeah, so you just have to guess how many double-digit seeds have made it to the Final Four in men's and women's since its start.
Combined.
Yeah, combined.
Yeah.
Combined. And then the lowest seed in either
Gets
one.
an extra point.
Okay.
Y'all want to go with this one now?
Do we go? Are you guys ready?
You guys can pick whenever.
All you.
All right, let's
No,
go.
are you guys ready to go?
Yeah,
Are you
let's
gonna
go at the
go
same time.
Okay, so let's
Lowest seed?
let's first do lowest seed first. Okay.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
12.
13.
So 13, 12. What'd you say?
I said 12.
You said 12.
We both said 12.
Okay. I'm thinking of a number 1 through 10.
Okay. 9.
9,
7.
7. All right. Well, let me add this up real quick for you guys.
But don't we also have to do the
Yeah, we need the combined
combined amount of seeds?
combined amount.
Because that was just the
Amount of
lowest
wins.
seeds.
Amount of wins.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying, if you guys want to answer that, yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead.
All right.
I'm gonna go with
Okay.
4 total.
Yeah, they're trying to guess how many times that. Or,
That's what you said.
you know what?
The
Never
question
mind. Never
was.
mind. We're
We
just
were
gonna
saying
go.
the seed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys were saying the seed. You said 4. Ayan.
7.
7.
Total double digit.
Yeah.
The final 4.
Oh, to make the final four.
Confused there.
5.
5.
Yeah.
You want to change your answer? I think we have too much time going on now.
I don't know. We got really sidetracked.
I think the answer might be.
So, all right, I added all the points up. I'm gonna have to double check at the end of the show, but just to make, I know I have a winner right now. So, what a show we had tonight! It was definitely a longer one, but we had a lot of fun. It's close throughout, but we finally have a winner, and that winner is, drumroll please, with a point score of 25, winning by 1 point. That is Cody Feldman.
Thank you. I want to thank a couple people. I want to thank Mom, Dad, and Claff. They're all watching. Well, Claff isn't, but he'll watch it tomorrow. And shout out Texas basketball and Michigan State basketball. January, February, Izzo. That's all I have to say. That's my FaceTime.
You had that ready, man. You had that equipped. You thought you were winning, huh?
I didn't think I was winning. I thought I might win. So
you had to prepare just in case.
yeah, you know, always got to stay prepared.
That was an impressive win, man. Congrats on the first win in College Crossfire for you. Thank you for everyone who makes this show possible, from the contestants to the in-studio personnel, all the people in Master Control, especially our executive producer, Grego Silva, and everyone in the crowd. Thanks for watching. If you want to check out our other shows at TSTV, you can check us out on Monday at, Santi, come on, bro. Thanks for watching. Remember to tune into our other shows here at TSTV Sports, which include the 1-0 Sports Show on Fridays at 11 and College Press Box on Tuesdays at 7. Once again, we're glad you decided to join us for College Crossfire tonight. We'll see you next week to watch Cody try to defend his title. This has been TJ Krilowicz. Have a great night.